En 1984, la icónica banda de glam metal Twisted Sister lanzaría la canción que los llevaría a la fama. La lanzaron en radio y en televisión y fue un auténtico éxito. Esta canción se trata de We're Not Gonna Take It. Fue tanto el éxito que a día de hoy, para jóvenes y mayores, da igual la generación que sea, sigue siendo un himno de rebelión contra la opresión y contra aquello que nos quiere arrebatar la libertad. Escrita originalmente para el EP Rough Cuts, escrita de propia mano de DEE SNIDER, pero finalmente publicada para su álbum Stay Angry en el año 1984. Logró la certificación de multiplatino. Solamente en Estados Unidos vendió la friolera de más de 3 millones de copias, siendo el álbum que les dio el reconocimiento mundial del mundo del metal. De hecho, el vocalista de Twisted Sister, DEE SNIDER, tuvo que lidiar bastante con su productor de la época, pues él no estaba muy convencido de que esto fuese a ser un hit. De hecho, estaba convencido de lo contrario. Menos mal que finalmente la sacaron, ¿no? Porque al final nos habríamos perdido un temón y un himno del rock and roll. Rara es la fiesta rockera, heavy, como tú quieras llamarla, que We're Not Gonna Take It esté en el setlist. We're Not Gonna Take It habla de no dejarse influir por otras personas o factores externos, de luchar contra aquellos que se consideran más fuertes que tú o que tienen más poder, y sobre todo, va de ser fiel a uno mismo. No importa cultura, religión, política. Sé fiel a tus principios, que no te digan lo que tienes que tragar. Pero al igual que la publicación de este álbum y este temón fue una gran dicha para el grupo, a su vez esa época sería convulsa para el rock and roll en los Estados Unidos. El Parents Music Resource Center, Centro de Recursos Musicales para Padres, o PMRC, como queráis llamarlo, era un comité estadounidense formado en 1985 por las esposas de varios diputados, entre ellas Tipper Gore, la esposa de Al Gore. Su misión era educar a los padres sobre modas alarmantes en la música popular. Aseguraban que el rock apoyaba y glorificaba la violencia, el consumo de sustancias, el suicidio, las actividades criminales, homosexualidad, violación y un largo etcétera. Abogaban por la censura o catalogación de la música en favor de sus hijos, los cuales podían caer en dichas trampas de la vida solo con escuchar una banda en concreto. La canción detonante para la iniciativa fue Darling Nikki, de Prince, y de ahí en adelante, y gracias al apoyo de la parte de la comunidad católica más extremista, cada vez su número fue mayor y consiguieron abrir una gran brecha en el rock en aquellos años, pretendiendo censurar cualquier obra que a ellos les pareciera nociva para la sociedad. De esa forma nacerían las 15 sucias. 15 canciones que formaron parte de su lista negra, bien por contenidos explícitamente sexuales, lenguaje ofensivo, violencia y similares. Y una de las canciones que fueron agregadas a dicha lista sería We're Not Gonna Take It, de Twisted Sister. La razón para que el comité incluyese la canción de Twisted Sister en la lista de las 15 sucias, además de por su mensaje de rebeldía e insumisión, sería por las imágenes de su videoclip. En el mismo videoclip, el grupo Twisted Sister desautoriza al padre de una familia desestructurada. El padre abusa de su hijo por su simple amor por el rock. Este manda a la mierda a su padre y va a tocar rock. Y en esto que aparecen Twisted Sister, desautorizándolo, ridiculizando al padre, y esto podía ser peligroso para la sociedad norteamericana, según el comité. Para los cuales era incómodo ver imágenes de cómo los hijos se insubordinan frente a sus padres. Ya los padres no tienen el control sobre la educación que le dan a sus hijos. Ahora esa parte viene de la música, según su pensamiento. Sin duda, la música rock de la época era una mala influencia para sus hijos, e intentaron censurarla desde todas las plataformas que les fueron posibles. Pero nos falta seguir contextualizando más sobre otras bandas para entender el porqué de la denuncia de censura contra diversidad de grupos de rock en aquella época y cuál era la razón principal. Los años 80 en el mundo del metal y el rock estaban en auge. Se difundió como la espuma en televisión, a través de videoclips y entrevistas. Las radios se hacían eco de sus hits y las ventas de sus LPs los colocaban en las primeras posiciones de venta del país. Y claro, a más popular, más gente cada vez iba escuchando dichos estilos. Sin embargo, los 80 serían una gran brecha para superar en el mundo del rock y del metal. Nuevas formas de utilizar la escenografía por parte de las bandas letras cada vez más crudas, ritmos cada vez más acelerados y todas las subdivisiones que el metal tuvo en aquellos años, encendió la alarma de la sociedad, autoridades y gobierno. Simplemente el mundo no estaba acostumbrado a que tocaran sobre ciertas temáticas como el sexo, el alcohol o el abuso de sustancias. Utilizaban una estética rompedora, los hombres podían utilizar ropa de mujer y maquillaje en sus rostros, estaban siempre rodeados de mujeres y algunos grupos utilizaban estéticas paganas y heréticas en sus canciones, hasta llegar a extremos al satanismo y ocultismo. Por aquel entonces la sociedad norteamericana era por lo general de moral ultraconservadora católica. Llevar ropa de cuero, un chaleco, vaqueros o el pelo largo era sinónimo de que la policía identificara a los metaleros viandantes de la calle. Dio lugar al tópico que dice que los metaleros y moteros eran todos delincuentes y que siempre andaban creando problemas, drogándose, y de este modo la estigmatización hacia dicha música y sus seguidores solo había comenzado. La pmrc llegó incluso a acusar directamente a las bandas de haber incitado a los jóvenes a través de su música incluso al suicidio, aprovechando una suerte de ola de suicidios que hubo en la época. Con un gran apoyo de la sociedad, el comité conseguiría que el Senado abriese una serie de sesiones para visualizar todo esto, para determinar si las 15 sucias eran susceptibles o no de censura por parte del gobierno. La intención del pmrc no era otra que la interrupción de la emisión de sus videoclips, censurar varias portadas de vinilos y obligar a las discográficas a cesar sus contratos con aquellas bandas que promoviesen este tipo de mensajes, aquellos que incluyesen letras obscenas sobre violencia, ocultismo, paganismo. Sería pues que un 19 de septiembre de 1985, DEE Snider sería llamado a declarar ante el Senado de los Estados Unidos, a testificar ante dicho Senado por la acusación que hacía la pmrc contra su grupo, para así defender el rock and roll a su banda y a sus compañeros ante el propio Senado. Ese día también compadecerían Frank Zappa y John Denver, pero el que más sobresalió de todos ellos sería DEE Snider, pues su discurso desarmaría por completo el discurso del comité. DEE Snider llegaría con la cara limpia, mirando al frente y con la indumentaria típica de un rockero de la época. Con tranquilidad se sentó en su asiento, se sacó su chaqueta y sacó sus alegaciones escritas en un papel guardado en el bolsillo trasero de sus vaqueros. Simplemente comenzó a leer el discurso que desarmaría por completo al comité y al Senado. Sin más, os dejo con las palabras de DEE Snider.
I don't know if it's morning or afternoon, but I'll say both. Good morning and good afternoon. My name is DEE Snider, that's S-N-I-D-E-R. I have been asked to come here to present my views on, quote, the subject of the content of certain sound recordings and suggestions that recording packages be labeled to provide a warning to prospective purchasers of sexually explicit or other potentially offensive content, unquote. Before I get into that, I'd like to tell the committee a little bit about myself. I'm 30 years old, I'm married, I have a 3-year-old son. I was born and raised a Christian, and I still adhere to those principles. Believe it or not, I do not drink, I do not smoke, and I do not do drugs. I do play in and write the songs for a rock and roll band named Twisted Sister that is classified as heavy metal. And I pride myself on writing songs that are consistent with my above-mentioned beliefs. There are many facets to this complex issue, and time does not permit me to address all of them. However, my feelings are expressed for the most part by the August 8th, 1985 letter to the Parents Music Resource Center from Mr. Stanley Gordikoff, President of the Recording Industry Association of America. This letter was a formal response to the PMRC's petition of the RIAA. The only part of this document I do not support is Mr. Gordikoff's unnecessary and unfortunate decision to agree to a so-called generic label on some selected records. In my opinion, this should be retracted. Since I seem to be the only person addressing this committee today who has been a direct target of accusations from the presumably responsible PMRC, I would like to use this occasion to speak on a more personal note and show just how unfair the whole concept of lyrical interpretation and judgment can be, and how many times this can amount to little more than character assassination. I have taken the liberty of distributing to you material and lyrics pertaining to these accusations. There were 3 attacks in particular which I would like to address. Accusation number 1. This attack was contained in an article written by Tipper Gore, which was given the form of a full page in my hometown newspaper on Long Island. In this article, Ms. Gore claimed that one of my songs, Under the Blade, had lyrics encouraging sadomasochism, bondage, and rape. The lyrics she quoted have absolutely nothing to do with these topics. On the contrary, the words in question are about surgery and the fear that it instills in people. Furthermore, the reader of this article is led to believe that the 3 lines she quotes go together in the song, when, as you can see from reading the lyrics, the first 2 lines she cites are an edited phrase from the 2nd verse, and the 3rd line is a misquote of a line from the chorus. That the writer could misquote me is curious, since we make it a point to print all our lyrics on the inner sleeve of every album. As the creator of Under the Blade, I can say categorically that the only sadomasochism, bondage, and rape in this song is in the mind of Ms. Gore. Accusation number 2. The PMRC has made public a list of 15 of what they feel are some of the most blatant songs lyrically. On this list is our song, We're Not Gonna Take It, upon which has been bestowed a V rating indicating violent lyrical content. You'll note from the lyrics before you that there is absolutely no violence of any type either sung about or implied anywhere in the song. Now, it strikes me that the PMRC may have confused our video presentation for this song with the meaning of the lyrics. It's no secret that videos often depict storylines completely unrelated to the lyrics of the song they accompany. The video for We're Not Gonna Take It was simply meant to be a cartoon with human actors playing variations on the Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote theme. Each stunt was selected from my extensive personal collection of cartoons. You'll note when you watch the entire video that after each catastrophe our villain suffers through, in the next sequence he reappears unharmed by any. Accusation number 3. Last Tuesday, a public forum regarding the lyric controversy was held in New York. Among the panelists was Ms. Gore. Trying to stem the virtual tidal wave of anti-rating sentiment coming from the audience, Ms. Gore made the following statement, quote, "I agree this is a small percentage of all music, thank goodness, but it's becoming more mainstream. You look at even the t-shirts the kids are wearing, and you see Twisted Sister and a woman in handcuffs sort of spread-eagled," unquote. This is an outright lie. Not only have we never sold a shirt of this type, we have always taken great pains to steer clear of sexism in our merchandise, records, stage show, and personal lives. Furthermore, we have always promoted the belief that rock and roll should not be sexist, but should cater to males and females equally. I feel that an accusation of this type is irresponsible, damaging to our reputation, and slanderous. I defy Ms. Gore to produce such a shirt to back up her claim. I'm tired of running into kids on the street who tell me that they can't play our records anymore because of the misinformation their parents are being fed by the PMRC on TV and in the newspapers. These are the only 3 accusations I've come across. All 3 are totally unfounded. Who knows what other false and irresponsible things have been said about me or my band. There happens to be one area where I'm in complete agreement with the PMRC, as well as the National PTA and probably most of the parents on this committee. That is, it is my job as a parent to monitor what my children see, hear, and read during their preteen years. The full responsibility for this falls on the shoulders of my wife and I, because there is no one else capable of making these judgments for us. Parents can thank the PMRC for reminding them that there is no substitute for parental guidance, but that is where the PMRC's job ends. The beauty of literature, poetry, and music is that they leave room for the audience to put its own imagination, experiences, and dreams into the words. The examples I cited earlier showed clear evidence of Twisted Sister's music being completely misinterpreted and unfairly judged by supposedly well-informed adults. We cannot allow this to continue. There is no authority who has the right or the necessary insight to make these judgments. Not myself, not the federal government, not some recording industry committee, not the PTA, not the RIAA, and certainly not the PMRC. I'd like to thank the committee for this time, and I hope my testimony will aid you in clearing up this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Snider. Mr. Snider, let's suppose that there is music which, say, glorifies incest, not yours. Let's suppose that there is some music that glorifies incest. Do you think that, do you think parents should know about it? Or do you think that it's just a matter between whoever is selling the record and whoever is buying it?
As I said in my testimony, I think it's very important that parents be aware of that these lyrics exist.
How could they find out about it?
Well, quite simply, as a parent myself and as a rock fan, I know that when I see an album cover with a severed goat's head in the middle of a pentagram between a woman's legs, that it's not the kind of album I want my son to be listening to.
Right.
If I read a title on the back of, say, somebody said Ice Cream Castle, a title called If the Kid Can't Make You Come, whatever it is, I realize that's a sexually explicit song. By just looking at the cover, looking at the lyrics, looking at the, I should say, the titles, that should cover just about all bases. The few albums that do not express their intentions on the cover or in the song titles, I think a parent could take it home, listen to it, and I don't think there's too many retail stores that would deny them the ability to return the album for something different.
Yes, Mr. Snider, I think I'd just take the opportunity to make an observation because you and I would differ as to what's obscene or what's shocking or what's vulgar. And persons of goodwill will differ on that particular score. I think that somewhere in this hearing record, we should not be on the defensive and we shouldn't create the atmosphere that we're powerless. The absolute nature of your statement that we don't have any authority, I only want to refer everyone to the Pacifica Foundation case, where the Federal Communications Commission was questioned as to its power to regulate public radio, TV broadcasts that was indecent but not obscene. You see, they differed between what was indecent, what was obscene, and what was shocking. They had the 7 dirty words. I think everyone remembers that case on the West Coast. And the Supreme Court of the United States found out positively the FCC had the authority, had the responsibility, and I'm quoting from the language of the Supreme Court, patently offensive, indecent material presented over the airwaves confronts the citizen not only in public, but also in the privacy of the home where the individual's right to be left alone plainly outweighs the First Amendment rights of an intruder. So this isn't just a forum to rally one way or the other and hope something happens. This is a forum with a definite responsibility with respect to Congress and enunciating the duties of the Federal Communications Commission, which have been constitutionally followed. So I understand your opinion, and that's why we invited you up here to hear your words and not mine, but I think that the general nature of all this testimony of nothing censorship, First Amendment absolutism does not pertain with respect to the broadcast media, and that's, of course, the main media, I guess you would agree, to actually sell the record, wouldn't it not be?
Yes, because I'd like to clarify something. I said no authority has the right or necessary insight. I didn't say you weren't able to. I said you don't have the right, or I don't have the right, or the RIAA. Also, we're talking about the airwaves as opposed to a person going with their money to purchase an album to play in their room, their home, on their own time. The airwaves is something different. I think that the FCC and even MTV have done a fair job in keeping profanity, obscenity, and things like that off the public airwaves. But as far as when you listen to your own home, that's something totally different, I feel.
Mr. Snider, what is the name of your fan club?
The fan club is called the SMF Friends of Twisted Sister.
And what does SMF stand for when it's spelled out?
It stands for the Sick Motherfucking Friends of Twisted Sister.
Is this also a Christian group?
I don't believe that profanity has anything to do with Christianity. Thank you.
That, it's just an interesting choice because I was getting the impression from your presentation that you were a very wholesome kind of performer, and that is an interesting title for your fan club. In you say your song, Under the Blade, is about surgery. Have you ever had surgery with your hands tied and your legs strapped?
The song was written about my guitar player, Eddie Ojeda. He was having polyps removed from his throat, and he was very fearful of this operation. And I said, Eddie, while you're in the hospital, I'm going to write a song for you. I said it was about the fear of operations. I think people imagine being helpless on a table, the bright light in their face, the blade coming down on them, and having totally afraid that they may wake up, who knows, dead, handicapped. There's a certain fear of hospitals. That's in my imagination, what I see the hospitals like.
Is there a reference to the hospital in the song?
No, there isn't, but there isn't a reference to a woman, sadomasochism, or bondage, yes, I'm sorry.
There's just a reference to someone whose hands are tied down and whose legs are strapped down, and he's going under the blade to be cut.
Yes, there is.
All right. So it's not really a wild leap of the imagination to jump to the conclusion that that's about something other than surgery or hospitals, neither of which are mentioned in the song.
No, it's not a wild jump, and I think what I said in one part was that songs allow a person to put their own imagination, experiences, and dreams into the lyrics. People can interpret it many ways. Ms. Gore was looking for sadomasochism and bondage, and she found it. Someone looking for surgical references would have found it as well.
Aquí os he dejado unos cuantos fragmentos de la comparecencia de DEE Snider, porque si pongo todo el fragmento, el vídeo se me va a 35 minutos y como que no es la cosa, ¿no? Pero de todas maneras, en la caja de descripción os voy a dejar la declaración completa por si le queréis echar un vistazo, por curiosidad. Si veis que al final, con todos los datos sobre la mesa, con las declaraciones de los artistas, el gobierno no tuvo otra opción que dejarlo correr y dejar la censura de videoclips, la censura de sus letras y los contratos discográficos blindados. Lo único que conseguiría el gobierno y el pmrc es esta etiqueta que veis aquí abajo, que a todos os sonará de los discos. La mítica pegatina que viene en todos los CDs y que ya se ha hecho histórica. Muchos incluso en la época decían que estaban deseando que la pusieran para tenerla en sus discos. Eso sería muy buena publicidad. Bueno chicos, hasta aquí el vídeo de hoy. Espero que os haya gustado de verdad. A mí me ha encantado hacerlo. Si ha sido así, dale me gusta, compártelo con un amigo, comenta tu opinión al respecto, dale a suscribirse y a la campanita para estar al tanto de todas las novedades que vaya bien en el canal. Y yo sin más me despido, una vez más. Espero que te haya gustado y nos vemos en la siguiente cosa que hagamos juntos. Nos vemos, cabrones.